G'day fellas, welcome commanders. Today we take a look at another top tier lobby to see somebody shaking up the meta. You know, one of the things that always interests me about Beyond All Reason is when somebody comes along to the meta and smashes it. It is not going to be Fra today with his lovely Pokemon that he's got here. It's a cute little, I'm assuming it's a Jigglypuff, judging by the look of it. Got my children recently into Pokemon, but anyway, that's a story for another time. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the south of the map in the color blue, our team captain for today on the south side, playing as Armada, it's Clankosaurus. And in the north of the map, in the color red, playing as the Armada as well, our team captain for the northern team, it is Mizuki. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All That Glitters. Now, I talked about the idea, the concept of a meta shift. What exactly is that? Well, the meta is what you expect people to do, right? Like, I would expect that this player here is going to make airplanes. That's the meta. Now, there's nothing that means that he has to actually make the airplanes, except for his teammates probably getting a little bit upset at him and maybe dying to the fact that the enemy team has got a whole bunch of planes and you've got nothing to deal with them. But that's the meta. It's what you expect them to do, and that happens until somebody goes ahead and shakes it up. And we're taking a look today at Super Kidowich. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I apologize in advance because I know I'm not. And he is shaking up the tech meta. Of course, you guys will be aware I kind of have a thing for the tech position, especially on this map. And, well, whenever somebody does something a little bit different, it excites me. So that's what we're going to be paying attention to. We'll check in with him a little bit later on, but we'll be focusing at a more top-level approach to this game and just be watching how he impacts the game. Now, of course, this is a very high-level lobby as well. So my attention is definitely going to be on Mizuki, this guy. It's kind of wild, right? He was like OS 48, 49 at the end of last season, and every single game I played with him, he just won. And he didn't just win, but it was like consistently dominating his lane. And I was like, this guy, I feel like he's such a bargain for like OS 48. Like, I feel like I'm getting an OS 70 player. And naturally, his OS has started to climb quite quickly after the Season 3 reset, and I suspect it's probably going to continue to climb. He is an absolute beast. So we'll see exactly how this game goes for him. Now, another thing to note is we are keeping the chat up in this game, just simply because I did see that there were many comments in the last one that said people saying, hey, you know, we missed the chat. Yes, it can be distracting. So what I've gone and done is I've just removed the sound. You won't hear the sound when people are chatting, but you will obviously see it up there. You can see when people share things, when people are giving each other resources. We can see that there is a little bit of a sharing going on down here. And of course, we are playing with the sharing mod option that has recently been brought up. If you're unfamiliar with that, you can check out the Discord thread. There's a whole bunch to it. We've got Super Kidowich here doing the standard build, I would say, for Cortex. This feels like a really good build. Feels very strong. This is the same thing that we do whenever we're opening up with Quakers. So he is going to be opening up with some advanced solar collectors. You can really take advantage of the fact that Core has got those cheaper advanced solars. The key here is that they're cheaper on the energy. That's the real difference. Whenever I catch myself in the early game trying to make a advanced solar collector with ARM, it's so hard, man. Their energy cost is just really prohibitive. So this is quite nice for him here. Now going to be getting out the third constructor. Also going to be taking an additional mechs, which I love to see. And yes, you'll see that on the front. What is that? That's not a T2 vehicle lab, my friends. No, that is a hovercraft lab that is coming to the tech position. Yeah, that is correct. In 2026, well, I guess we got hovercraft tech before GTA 6. Let's just go with that one. That's probably easier to say. He's got a whole bunch of stuff going on back here. Well, yeah, he's doing a wonderful job so far. Going to throw down a third advanced solar. Let's check in on the front line because we've got a good matchup here. A whole bunch of ticks trying to break through. Shuriken's going to look to try and delay the push in any way that they can and doing a wonderful job of just chasing them down, avoiding any losses. Shout out to our air player today. He's OS 34, but do not be confused by the poop. He is very, very good. You'd love to have this guy on your team with shurikens like that early on the front line. That is very nice to see. Clankosaurus, aka Chevrolet, going to be leading out the charge here. The 3.2 still yet to be claimed. Mizuki's obviously already begun moving up, playing on his favorite lane, the anti-canyon position. Now, I will just say that with regard to our levels today, I don't know exactly how loud I'm coming in compared to the Beyond All Reason game, so I'll just keep that in mind. The volume's probably quite low for you guys, so apologies, but it's okay. You're only here to hear the voice, and look, we got ourselves a bit of fun right here. We got a bit of a comp trade. Rompy going in straight away, only for a beamer. Okay, as long as he's got units in position, I think this is fine. because he hits the beamer. Chevrolet's side's going to be opened up a little bit here. But this is a lot of metal that's on the ground. Fra going to be coming down. Normally, if you want to go for a com bomb like that, you want to be pinging out your allies. You want to be telling them, hey, I'm going for a bomb right now. That was only a beamer as well. Like, if that was a beamer and like a heavy laser turret, I could understand it. But it looks like he is going to be able to get some decent coverage here. Clankosaurus not really able to move up onto this just yet. Shuriken's also going to be coming out on the blue team. And we've got another commander going down. And you can see Darth Revan over here. Shout out to my Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic friends. Any Knights of the Old Republic fans in here? I'll tell you what, one of the greatest games in history, that one right here. But this is what we're all here to talk about. This right here. It is the Mangonel, the core hovercraft. It is, and this is such an interesting theory because essentially, like, we're going to ride on board with him now.
Self-destructed.
I've seen his chat about this, his mindset behind this. His thinking is this, right? What's the main strategy on the front? What's the dominant strategy on front? Dominant strategy on front at the moment is basically get up to front ASAP and build beamers. That's pretty much it. It's not twin guards. It's not heavy laser turrets. I mean, it can be, as we do see one literally going up right now, but it's beamers typically. And what this unit does is it cracks open the beamers. And that's what I love about this. So he's now going to start coming in with the Mangonel here, working down this position. He spots out the heavy laser turret, laser coming through, and now all of a sudden he knows, okay, I just need to get an idea on exactly where that is, and we're just going to be able to start taking it down. These have a range of 700. Now, if we go take a look at the enemy tech player, you'll see that they've got the Advanced Vehicle Lab coming up at 6:30, haven't reclaimed their solars. What are they doing? Ace, what are you doing, mate? You've got to be reclaiming your solars. That would be my main tip, is just like, this is 450 free metal that's sitting on the ground here. And he's going, oh, he's not going into units. Interesting. He's going into a T2 constructor first. All right. We'll have to see exactly how this plays out for him. But look at the Mangonel number. Look at the Mangonel number that we've got right now from Super Kitowich. He's already got impact on this game at 6 minutes into the game. Now moving into the 7th minute, and you can see that he's trying to scout out this position. If we ride on board with him, he knows now he's spotted it out. He knows exactly where the Overwatch is. And once that Overwatch gets taken out, that is the key that's holding all of this back. But of course, once it goes down, you can see Intas in the chat saying, Kitowich trolling. This is GG. Oh, my lord, this is not trolling at all. This is doing work. Because what would typically be happening right here? Well, typically you'd have Quakers, you'd have the Mousers, you'd have the Fat Boy that's in the front. What's their job? Yeah, they push it back, but the main goal is that you're taking out the Pork, the Porcupine, the defenses. That's the key. And yet here, you've got a tech player who is getting online a little bit sooner. Yeah, of course, he's going to be online for T2 a little bit later, already halfway through, not to mention the 670 metal in the Hover Lab. It's been buffed, which is, I guess, another credit for it. But here, let's have a look and see how he's actually controlling these units, because they can be difficult to control. He's got quite a few of them out already. He's gone for the 10. Just 10. Crazy damn. Yeah, this is definitely some crazy stuff that we are witnessing right here. But as you can see, all of the focus is just completely on those turrets. Any turrets that get put down or that were down, they get immediately annihilated. At the same time, he's still focusing off these rockets. And any rockets that make connections with these units, as we reveal the line of sight, you can see they get two-shot by those rockets. We've got another commander going down. Fra managing to stay alive over here. He's got to be cautious, though, simply because there are rocketeers that are nearby, ready to blow that commander if it dares get a little bit too close. But the con turret, I think, might be just in range, so it's a really nice spot for him, throwing down a vehicle lab on the front as well. You can see Iron Storm in the chat saying rocket hovers would be so overpowered if they had just a little bit more AoE damage. And I got to agree, that's part of the reason why they probably don't have more AoE. But yeah, one of the things I love about this is just the fact that you don't really care about if you lose them. But speaking of losing them, that was a single Quaker right there, able to take them out. 8 minutes 40. Quaker shot came in, and now down to 4 Mangonels. But look what he's done. He has blown open the front. And the thing is, he's communicated this with Chevrolet. Normally, you wouldn't see this kind of spam from rocket bots this early on. Like, yeah, we make them, but we don't make this many. This is like 20 plus rocket bots that he's made already in this game. Normally, you'd be reclaiming your rocket bots. And because of that, he's now able to push through. And there's really not much pressure. The Quaker now all of a sudden is not able to do that same damage that it normally would. Now, granted, our tech player in the north didn't make the appropriate number of Quakers. We'll say that. There's a second Quaker that has arrived, but even that, my friend, it feels like it's probably not going to be enough to hold this. Mizuki is struggling. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, Mizuki is an incredibly good player. Such a competent player. Someone that I want him on my team because, as I said, I feel like I'm getting a bargain. What do I mean by that? If you're OS, right, and this is a great way to put it. I'm OS, 35, 36, somewhere in that region. And I'm OS 36 tech player. I only play tech. Now, if you put me as this player over here, what's my OS? What would be my equivalent OS if, like, if we were to consider, okay, if I'm OS 36 as a tech player, and I specialize in that position, my knowledge is in that position, I know the timings, I know the builds, I know everything about that position, and then you're going to throw me out here where I've never been before. I'm in the deep end. What's my OS? Like, I don't know, 25, maybe 30 if I'm lucky. It's not particularly good. With Mizuki, so in this circumstance, this would not be a bargain. This is a waste of OS, because this OS that I've got, this 36 OS, is not really 36 OS. It's more like 30 OS. Whereas here, for Mizuki, my feeling towards him, and I'm sorry for the glaze, it's just like, he's 56 OS, but I just feel like I'm just getting such a bargain with him. Like, he's 56 OS in this position, but he's not really. He's like 60 OS in this position. That's essentially what I mean. But look, that's enough glaze. So essentially at this point, Clankosaurus's front has been completely opened up by Super Kitowich. Now, there is a response that is coming out from the enemy tech players. The third Quaker's now arrive. Fourth Quaker coming here. Fifth one as well. And now we expect to see the pushback happening. But he has bought enough time for Chevrolet to get his own T2 lab up. You can see he's reclaiming the existing T1. Second T2's coming out. Now, of course, we could always, throw in that variable of, okay, well, what if the enemy tech player had actually made units instead of their own T2? And yeah, that's a good point, okay? But we can only judge the game on its merits. And what have we got here? Speaking of merits, well, Super Kitowich going for an absolute amazing move here. Now, I've actually seen this in a couple of games. When I was watching Papa Smurf and all of his games, so I watched 12 games from Papa Smurf. One of the games that I saw, this was a strategy that people used. They actually rushed the... Is it the sumo? Or the mammoth. No, it's the mammoth. It was called the sumo back in TA. But it's called the mammoth now. You'd rush a mammoth, and this thing is insane. It is genuinely... Of course, it's still potentially degunned. That's the one big issue that you've got with it. But as long as you're able to protect it with pawns or ticks or anything like that, you can see Clankosaurus trying to keep it all alive. The Quakers looking to try and get those shots in. He's under the cover of darkness, both stealth and jammed. Will be able to survive. And now the Mausers are coming out. As I mentioned before, he's managed to buy himself enough time where he was able to get up and hold the front. And this has subsequently meant that now he's at T2 by himself. And because he's at T2 by himself, he's denying the 3.2 to his opponent, the 1.8 that's over here that he's managed to secure. All of this front is being denied, and because of that, he's so far ahead. So he's really allowed his best player on the team to shine, and now behind this, he's got the Mammoth. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to T2 constructors, you don't even want to begin to think about it or know about it. How are we doing on T2 constructors down here? I'm going to do a double click. We've got 4, apparently, that are here. I can see 1, I can see a second one, there's a third one, and Air has got a 4th one as well. So we're at 4. How are we doing on the north side? Let's double check and see. Hold on. Why does our yellow player not yet have a T2 constructor? What is going on with our tech player on the red team? There's 7, but he's forgotten the yellow player. Oh, not like this. Like, your OS 52 player is not the player you want to forget with a T2 constructor. Unless he brought it to the front. Did he bring it to the front? It doesn't look like it. I don't see it at the front. Yeah, that's a feels bad moment right there. Oh, gosh. All right, well, when it comes to the front, like, Super Kitowich has obviously blown it open, but he also had a backup plan, and behind that was the Mammoth. He's also got the Commander up here on the front. Now, when he's taken mexes, he's taken this 7th mex, and that's it. There's no additional mexes that he's taken. Well, that I suspect will probably change. I know I would be looking to try and grab these as quickly as I possibly could. Meanwhile, behind it, the Commander, going to be looking to repair, going to be looking to reclaim any metal that he's got, because that's another great way as the tech player to be picking up metal that you shouldn't be off the ground, taking advantage of all of these units that have died that perhaps you're killing. And now, once again, we've opened up another hole over here as Fra's Commander goes down. Now, it wasn't obviously taken out by the Mammoth, at least I don't think it was. Definitely not taken out by the Mammoth, but nonetheless, the fact that we've got T2 out here, the Mausers together with the Bulls, aka the Bulldogs from TA, this has definitely resulted in this going down. And you can see the kind of way that we've got that chain reaction, that effect, that butterfly effect really happening here, in that you've allowed this front player to have a little bit more ground compared to his front player, and he's just opened up a whole can of worms for them now. And now Super Kitowich on the front, going to be starting to tank these additional mexes. Let's check in with the Eco behind. How's he going? He's got that first T2 mex that's up, second one that's now coming up, as we've got another Commander that goes down on the front. It's going to be our Commander here of Palace, who has lost it out to a couple of Sheldons. These units particularly good at sniping things. How are we doing back over on this front? Well, the Quakers are managing to hold, Mizuki being handed over those T2 units. our tech player, he's got all of his T2 mexes online. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 T2 mexes online compared to Super Kitowitz, who has got just that one that's online for the moment. Keep in mind he's got 32 metal a second though, because he's managed to secure some mexes on the front, which are belonging to that of Mizuki. On top of that, he's also got his commander that's still alive, which is just providing him that extra metal coming through every second. So he is trying to find all these other ways that he can keep up on that economic front. So we've got, what is it? Well, he's 91 at the moment. That's got to be inclusive of some reclaim. Wish there was a way for us to turn that reclaim off. I always feel like seeing the reclaim numbers here is just so dishonest. Like, it's still saying 98. I don't know why it's saying 98. Stop that. Stop reclaiming whatever it is that you're reclaiming. So it looks like 43, and then if we compare that over to his opponent, 44. So he's doing a wonderful job of managing to keep everything together. Speaking of keeping everything together, where did that mammoth go? He's handed the mammoth off. The 83 kill mammoth has now been handed off to his frontliner. He said, "Hey, I've managed to gain enough ground over here." And now we've got the tech player that's all the way over here. And I just love this. And I think this is one of the key things to becoming a better player, is just being flexible, right? Like this happened in one of the games where I was playing, where 2 commanders went down over here, and I just immediately flew over here with the fat boy and like dropped down and immediately just reclaimed all of that good stuff. And it's the same sort of idea, right? Like, you might have this idea in your head, but you got to go with the flow. And if something seems great at one time, and then all of a sudden that changes, you got to make sure that you're there to follow that change. Meanwhile, Clankosaurus, aka Chevrolet, now starting to work in a couple more of those advanced T2 units that we start to see. The Ambassador is going to be firing off against the Persecutors here. He should be able to take these out with the number that he's got. He's got 1, 2, 3. That's enough to one-shot the Persecutor here. Now, can he do it from range? 1,300 range compared to, well, we can't click it because it's dead. But I suspect he could probably do that. The Persecutor is, what, 1,400? 1,390, yeah. So we'll 10 off there. But of course, these are stealthy. That's the other thing to remember. Stealthy rocket launchers, so they won't show up on radar. Even if you've got radar, you have to actually physically sight them. It can be very difficult dealing with them. And now, down towards that, I should say down, over towards that eastern side of the map, we start to see the pushes come out. But I guess the key thing I want to focus here is all of these mexes that have been denied. We've got 4, 5, 6, count it twice, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mexes that have all been denied. Arguably 13. I mean, this is kind of anybody's mex, but you've got all of this metal that has been denied, and it all goes back to those hovercrafts. The king of the glitters. Well, not really the king of the glitters, but look, I'm kind of curious to see whether or not it becomes a little bit more attached in the meta, because the idea is quite simple, right? Like, people build beamers. Why do they build beamers? Because beamers are very good at denying area. They build heavy laser turrets. They're very good at denying area, and the Mangonel outranges them all completely. It allows you to have that extra control and deny that space, and because that space is denied, now all of a sudden, well, we got Tremors over here. We got OS-49 Tremors coming out. Von Comet really looking to make it rain over on the side for Darth Revan. But yeah, for me at least, that's the mindset. I like it a lot. My biggest fear is that you're delaying T2, and like, what's your follow-up going to be after you've delayed T2? Like, do you even bother going with T2 units? Well, I think you probably have to. As we saw with the Quakers here, as there's quite a lot of Quakers. This is maybe too many Quakers, you know. We did very well in scaling our metal early, I'll say that, but now we've got a lot of Quakers, and this is kind of the issue. Oh my god, I'm just going to hold my tongue right now, as unfortunately Chevrolet groups all of his Starlights up together, and they just get one shot. He even types in the chat, "Got him, dude." You love to see it. Yeah, Setme, you love to see it. That's some good stuff right there. Just as I was talking shit, I mean, I will say right now, he was able to take advantage of his opponent's unfortunate positioning right there, but this is normally what you'd call overmaking Quakers. They're a good unit in the sense that they're so cheap, so they're very easy to get out, but once you're at this level, I feel like you can probably transition into... to be honest, I probably, even as tech on this map, I probably wouldn't even transition into that many Quakers unless I was just not going to make T2. But we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. Now, towards the front, we've got Super Kitowitz looking to reinforce this position against Azrael on the front. So now going to be throwing down a Persecutor of his own. Now, keep in mind, look at the range on this. The T2 lab is in range, but hold your horses. We've got ourselves a bit of a bombing run coming through right now. OS-34 Uno coming in with a big one. There are so many triangles right here. Manages to make a connection. I don't know what he hit. It looked like it might have been some converters there for Chevrolet, and now the T2 lab might be the target as he's going to try and go for it. All of the BP is there as well, but it looks like he's misplaced on the bombs. There's no triangles in the air for our blue team. Unfortunately, this is going to be bad. This is going to be real bad. Build 8 T2 bombers. What the F? Yeah. Is that his Q? That might have been his Q. Yes. Unfortunately, things are not going well, and you can see now we've got air coming out as well from Daddy Payne. He's decided to... is that Daddy Payne? That's Ultra Hasta that's come in there, but... I mean, this is a hard position to salvage here. At the very least, you've got the fusion reactor wreckage that you can potentially salvage if you've got some allies to assist. You've got your commander back here. You've still got your T2 lab. It's really just about rebuilding the BP, making sure they don't eat the fusion reactor, and then resurrecting the fusion reactor. Ideally, if you can get a fusion from an ally or some sort of energy income from an ally, it's going to be very helpful at this stage. But back towards the front, how are we doing? Where's that Persecutor? Well, that Persecutor's been persecuted by the Arbiters on the other side of the map, a range of 1210. Not stealthy, but still damn well good. I used to love these units back in TA. What were they called back in TA? Gosh, I can't remember. You'll have to excuse me. I loved making them, though. They were wonderful. I will remember eventually. It's one of those things. You'll eventually get it. But anyway, let's get back into it. Clankosaurus now going to be... I would just say if you're watching this video 5 years into the future, maybe 10 years into the future, at the time, this is a perfectly fine word to say, but I do suspect this will become a slur. So say this while you can now in 2026, because in 2036... the robots will be asking for human rights, or not, well, I guess technically, yeah, they'll be asking for rights equivalent to humans, and that'll mean not using slurs against them. So just keep that in mind, okay? You can say your slurs now. This is like the 1800s all over again. Probably not even the 1800s for the Americans. This is like the 1990s. I'm just kidding. But seriously, anyway. We've got nukes, apparently. That nuke can still hit anywhere except green. What do we got? We got nukes. Is that nukes from the north, potentially? Let's check in and see. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to nukes, we don't actually get notified when there's actually a nuke that has been launched. We would see it in the air, because it's very, very... There it is. There it is. Good timing. Unuke, Chev front, and I massive push. All right. So where have we got anti-nukes? We've got one that's coming up right here. We're at the 22-minute mark. We've got a second one that's over here, and it's just been built in time. We've got a third one that's over now on this position right here, and that has just been built in time as well. Has this been scouted by our team from the south? It has not. You can see him being called out right now. You're stalling. Yeah, he's building an APHIS, man. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's building an APHIS. How are we doing on that? He's calling for nukes right now. He's got one in the bag. I think he wants to go for a second. He's not popping it. Normally when you've got a nuke, you're sitting there twiddling your fingers, waiting for it to finish. Look at the amount of units that are here, though. Mizuki knows he can finish this game right here, right now, as long as this front goes down. Now, keep in mind, the Rattlesnake is still under the cover of darkness, so I don't know whether or not that will survive. You can see Mizuki just waiting, anticipating. There's so many pawns and grunts in here. Plenty of gaps, calls out Setme. Where do they look to jam it? Now, at this stage of the game, if we were to compare the pair, you'd say the blue team is ahead. Look at the metal. They're sitting on, well, they were sitting on about 300 more metal. They're in a wonderful position here. They've got this completely opened. And do we have the front open just yet? No, we don't. No, we don't. Not just quite yet. You can see Mizuki saying we can't hold any longer. RIP. Well, let's see what the play is. We've now got a Spectre out as well. He's looking to try and get confirmation from this. Fra now. Let's check in. And right on board, he's just gotten a big stun right there on a whole bunch of Sheldons and Arbiters. And now, the push. Still yet to come. A lot of tick spams coming out. Where's that nuke? The APHIS is complete. Does he say I'm going to nuke now, or does he look to hold it again? But remember, every second that goes on, more anti-nukes come online. This one right here, he could have nuked smack bang on the head of Clankosaurus and taken him out. Now, of course, behind the scenes, we see there's only 2 fusions, so it's really not that big of a nuke. I think a nuke... I mean, honestly, if I was here and if I had God Vision, where would I nuke? Okay. What's he saying? You can send now. Yeah. Mizuki just wants it. He's like, this looks really nice to hit if you had God Vision. I mean, this obviously looks very good as well, but even then, you're hitting a Rattlesnake. I don't know if that will kill the Rattlesnake on the top. Let's see where he goes. He's going for the top of the Rattlesnake. All right, here he goes. He's going to try it. Nuclear launch detected. We don't hear it, but I'll do the voice for you. Nuclear launch detected. Nuclear launch detected. Might be another nuclear launch over here. I'm going to have to watch it in 2 spots. Where's that nuke? It's slowly touching down. That's not touching down. Big bang boom. There it is. The only man standing. Clankosaurus and his Rattlesnake, of course. The Rattlesnake remains, and now the death push comes in. Let's take a look and see. as Mizuki makes his way forward. Oh, there's so many Jaguars, though. There's no way they're getting through that. There's just way too much T2 stuff. And remember, in my mind, it all goes back to that space that was created at the beginning of this game. The fact that you had your tech player who just got up there a little bit faster than the average bear, was just able to get up and deny that space from his opponents. And you had a player that knew exactly how to take advantage of it. And now that player is so big, so strong, that even when nuked to the front, he's got so many units out on the map. He's looking to reclaim, looking to repair, looking to revive his team. But doesn't need to revive them. They never died. They've always been alive. We got a second nuke coming in shortly. Yes, we do. RIP wrong. All right, let's see where it goes. As I said, like, this looked like a really good spot, but you know, it's hard to know. We got the pulsar that's coming out over on the east side. He's going to go for a second nuke. Let's see where it looks to go. We got big bombers. Oh my lord, how did you? Damn, you came up pretty quick. How many? 3 fusions back over here. That's a lot of. They're arm bombers though, so they're barely going to hit anything. Nuke coming in. Nuke coming in. He's going deep. He's going deep towards the front on Darth Revan. He's opened it up completely. We've got T3 that's now arrived as well, but unfortunately Mizuki's just given up after that bombing run. The bombing run from Daddy Payne, of course. Daddy Payne in the corner. Going to be looking to finish this game right here, right now, as the big booms happen. One of the fusions does manage to stay alive, and in the end, he's able to keep down the opponent relatively well here. But is it going to be enough to put that nail in the coffin? Well, normally when your best player on the team goes, you start to see the rest of the team go, and indeed, we start to see them go. Azrael also going to be tapping out our white player in the corner here, leaving the game as well. And unfortunately, in the end, it seems like Super Kitowicz, I don't know exactly, I'm sorry, is successful. We're gonna say right now it's a successful play. We're gonna say that in the end, it was the Mangonels that denied the pork, which allowed the army of Clankosaurus to move up, to deny the metal. That metal wasn't really instrumental. It was the fact that you're denying it from this player right here, the best player on the team. You're then able to move and leverage that over towards this position. You're now able to deny all of this anti-canyon, and behind this, you're having a field day. You've got your T2 up. Your T2 was on time. Not even on time, but your T2 was ahead of schedule, and it could be because you had that extra support, and that extra T2 is now buying you all this space you can leverage, and even if you get nuked to the face, you're able to stand strong on your own 2 legs. Well, there's arguably 3 legs from a guy like this, but yes, that is a joke. We'll say that right there, and yes, it's the one that you're thinking of. And we've now got the resign vote going up for Fra's team. He's obviously taken 4 players here, but in the end, it's not going to be enough for him. And we close this one out. So in the end, there's definitely been quite a difference between these two teams. Were the Mangonels the difference? In my mind, absolutely. And now Super Kitowicz is going to follow it up with a classic grunt spam. You'll love to see it. Well played. And in the end, the tech player who made units, not the one that made T2 constructors and T2 maxes, was the winner. We do see Clankosaurus picking up a lot of the awards there, but in the end, the MVP in my heart is Super Kitowicz. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can check him out on YouTube, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.